Yeah, hi. In this tutorial, we are continuing with our Learn Python tutorial. So this is the third one in the series. So in this tutorial, we are going to learn about the numbers. So basically, Python has four types of numbers. That is Booleans, integers, floating point numbers, and complex numbers. Booleans are, as you know, the values are true and false as Booleans. And internally, these values are actually treated as integers like true has a value of 1 and false has a value of 0. So let's assign these Boolean values to variables a and b. So a has a value Boolean value true and b has a Boolean value false. If we just simply print these variables, it will print their values true and false. Now, as I said, true is treated as 1 and false is treated as 0 numerically. So just to test this, what I'm doing is here I'm adding 5 plus true. And in the next statement, what I'm doing is I'm multiplying 5 into false. Since true is treated as 1, so the output of this line would be 6 and false is 0. So multiplying 5 into 0 becomes 0. So if you see the output here, so this is 6 and this is 0. Continuing further, now we have integers or so integers we can say the numbers with the negative and positive numbers including zeros as well. Uh, let's we assign a value x equals to 5 or y equals to minus 5. So these are all integers. Now Python provides you a function type. So using this type function, we can find out the data type of any variable. So if I run type within bracket the name of the variable, let's say x, then it will tell the type to which this particular variable belongs to, or the class actually to which this variable belongs to. So this x is having value is of 5, so it means x is an integer type. So if I see the output, it says x belongs to the class integer. Next is the float type. So float are the numbers having decimals as well. So again, what I'm doing here is I'm assigning the value of float 3.14 to variable pi, and I'm just displaying printing the type of this variable pi. So it should be float. So this shows that okay, this particular variable pi has a value which belongs to a class float type. That is fine. Now next is the some mathematical operators we can discuss quickly. Let's say we want to find out the quotient. Let's say we divide a number by another number and we want to find out the quotient, also called as the floor division. So this is what we can achieve by using two uh, division symbols, that is 2 forward slash. So this is a floor division. So when if I say 5 divided by 3, this will give us a quotient of 1. So in the floor division output, if you see, the value of 1 is coming. Now if you want to find out the remainder, then we can use the modulo operator, which is represented as percentage. So if I say 5 percentage 3, it will give the remainder. So that is remainder is 2. Next is to find out the power or the exponent. So what we have to do is give the number and double asterisk and then the power that we want to find out. So 3 asterisk asterisk 2 means 3 to the power 2. That is the output will be 9. So the output here, what we are seeing here is 9. Next is we can uh, increase or decrease or operators variables uh, in a slightly different way than we do usually. So for let's say we have a variable x equals to 10, then I can use this method x plus equals to 10. So what it will x plus equals to 1. So what it will do, it will add 1 to whatever value of x is having and then assign the result back to x. So this actually means x plus equals to 1. This actually means x equals to x plus 1. So calculate uh, the new value, that is x plus 1, and then whatever the result is, assign it back to x. Similarly, we can use other operators, for example x minus equals to 1 or x multiply equals to 1, x divide equals to 1, and so on. So yeah, this is what we're printing here. X is 10 here, and after getting it incremented by 1, we are just printing its value, which is 11. Now, using the same logic, I'm doing here is decrement operator, that is x minus equals to 1. So it means x equals to x minus 1. So we added 1, and here we are just decreasing the 1. So result will be back to 10. If we check the output, it says decrement of x by 1 gives you the value back to 10. Similarly, we can say x star equals to 5. It means x equals to x into 5. So multiply the value of x by 5 and assign the result back to x. So 10 into 5 is 50. So multiply x by 5 gives the result as 50. There are some other mathematical functions that we can use. For example, ABS, which is an absolute to find out the absolute value. So to this ABS function, I'm passing minus 9. So it should return 9. So that's absolute value. So absolute value is 9. This is what we see in the output. Next is the round function. So basically it rounds the given value to the decimal places that we specify. Let's say we have a value 3.1475 and I want to round it to two decimal places. I will just simply say round this particular value comma 2. That 2 signifies that I want to round it up to two decimal places. So in the output I'll get something like 3.15. We also have a library called math, which we can import in our program to perform some complex mathematical functions. Let's say, for example, I want to find out the log of some number, so I can use log 10 uh, function which is present in the math library. So first I have to import this math library and then say math.log 10. So whenever we are using a function which belongs to library that we are importing or the module that we are importing, so we have to first specify the module name, or if we are using an alias of that particular module, then we have to specify that alias name, then dot, and then the actual function that we want to use of that particular module. So in a way we come to know, okay, this particular module is actually present in this math. This particular function is actually present in this math module or math library. So what we're doing here is we are using math.log10 and we are finding out the log of 100 to the base 10. Similarly, there is a function available in math library called as log2, that is to find the log of a number to the base 2. So to after executing this, we will get output like this. So log 100 to the base 10 is 2 and log 16 to the base 2 is 4. Now there are some arithmetic comparison operators that we want to quickly go through. So the symbols are we are already familiar with, greater than, less than, greater than equals to, less than equals to. Now for doing the equals to comparison, we use double equals sign to indicate that it's a equal to comparison, instead of if we use only single equals to, it means we are assigning the value. So that's the difference between single equals and double equals. And for the not, we are using exclamation mark and equals to. So let's say we have two variable x and y. X is having value 10, y is having value 11. Now we want to find out whether x is equal to 10 or not. So we say x double equals to 10. So whenever we are doing the arithmetic comparison, the result will be in the form of the Boolean true or false, depending upon what the condition gets satisfied or not. So in this case, we are saying x double equals to 10. It means we want to compare if the value of x is 10. Yes, it is 10 because x, here we are assigning x to 10. So this will return true. So if I say is x equals to 10, the output is coming as true. The next is we are saying is x greater than y, so x is 10 and y is 11, so this is false. So the output should be false of this particular. So is x greater than y, this is false. Now dealing with the numbers which are actually stored as a string, sometimes we read numbers maybe by user input or maybe by reading from a file, and somehow that the number is actually, it's actually a number but it gets stored as a string. Now if we directly perform arithmetic operation like plus on those values, then we will not get the result as expected. For example, if I have x equals to 100 and y equals to 100, and these are within the quotes, it means these, even though these look like number, but these are actually strings. So if I say type of x using this type function, I can find out the type of this x and y variables. We will get like, okay, type of x is a string as well as type of y is a string. Now if I want to add this x plus y, it will not give you 200 because these are actually treated as a string. So and we know in a string plus x is a concatenation function. So it will concatenate x and y, and it will give 100 and 100. That is, this is what it's giving. So this is not what we wanted to achieve. So what we have to do is we have to first cast the variable. That is, we have to change the data type of variable from string to integer. So this is called as casting. That is, in which we are changing the data type. So let's say we want to convert x to integer. Just simply use int, and within bracket specify the variable name x and assign it back to x. So it will convert x into integer and assign the value back to the variable x. Similarly for y. Now if we find out the type of x and y, it should be integer. So if you see here, after casting, the type of x and the type of y is actually integer. Now if you print the sum of x plus y, it will give 200, because now these are integers, and simply these values will get added. Now there is another function available called as isInstance. So this is a pretty handy function to find out the data type and compare with the given value. Let's say if we want to compare if x is of integer type or not, then I will say isInstance, then the name of the variable, and the instance class with which we want to compare. So if we want to compare with integer, and if x is actually integer, then it will return true, otherwise it will return false. Now, similarly, because here we are saying x equals to 10, and we are using this function is instance x and specifying the value integer. Because it is integer here, so this function will return true. So that is what we are getting here, true. Now we are making x as a string, and then we are comparing using this function is instance. We are comparing the data type with the string. Since it belongs to the class string, so it will return as true. So similarly for the float. So in this way we can, if we have a variable, then we can directly, using this is instance function, we can compare whether this variable belongs to integer type or float type or string type, and accordingly, if required, then we can do the type casting, so that we can perform the operations as per our need. So that's it for now in this session. Thank you.